guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. Priscilla here with another episode of Moths in the Scratic. The hashtag Moths in the Scratic is a scrap busting ephemera making challenge where we get the moths out of our scratic. A scratic is a scrappy attic full of scraps. We gotta clean those out. So this is a scrap busting ephemera making challenge where we will in fact be scrap busting and making ephemera. And today is day 29. The prompt is fabric. So let's get into it. I pulled out some scraps already, because I said I was going to be more efficient today with my make, because yesterday's make was not efficiency at all. And I can tell you why. It's because I was watching anime. That is entirely the reason. There was lots of long breaks in between filming because I was watching anime. And so today, I didn't even start. Aren't you proud of me? I hope you are. I'm proud of me. Granted, once I'm done recording, I will in fact be watching anime again. But for now, we're going to be making some stuff. And I know I said the prompt is fabric, and I immediately started cutting paper. But come with me on this journey. So, I thought we would make some little mini envelopes today with our punch board. I have one of those We Are Memory Keeper punch boards, if you do too. Pull it out, because you haven't used it in a while, I guarantee you. Because, yeah, I don't use mine as often as I should either. I kind of just go for the, like, you fold it up, you fold the top down type of envelopes, because that's so much faster. But, you know, life doesn't have to be like that. We can use our tools, especially when we paid for them. And you might notice, if you have one of these punch boards, that I am cutting my paper at a size that is smaller than it says to. In fact, smaller than anything on the chart. So these I save, these I get rid of, okay? If it's under an inch in thickness, and it's a skinny strip, we're not saving it. We're letting it go. One, because that box is hella full. Two, because I got strips already. I don't need skinnier strips. So, I got some 3x3 squares here. Can't pick them up. So, hopefully, this is the right website. Because, if you Google envelope punch board calculator, you'll find a blog. And I believe this is the blog I've used before in the past. And didn't steer me wrong. There is a blog out there with one of these calculators on it that is bad. And it does not work. So, the first result, that's the one I used. That's one I think is the tried and true good one. But if you put in the dimensions of the card that you want, it's going to give you the envelope, like, size of paper and score line. Fingers crossed, this is the right one. Otherwise, we're going to have to do some troubleshooting. Because that's how I figured this out. 5/16. You'll notice that there are not 16ths on this board. It goes in 8ths. So you have to know that 5/16 is more than 4/16. 4/16 is 2/8. 2/8 is a quarter. So 5/16 is in between a quarter of an inch and 3/8 of an inch. Right there. So I'm going to eyeball the halfway point. And then hope that that doesn't have, like, I don't know, bad juju attached to it. Irrevocable damage. I will say when you make these super mini type envelopes, you gotta do a little bit of trimming afterwards, but it's okay. It's worth it to get a little mini envelope. So let's see, last round, and then we'll see if my elf eyes steered me wrong. But this is great if you have, like, funky size cards and you're not really sure and it doesn't match anything that's on the board. You can just use this little calculator. So yeah, bump, bump, bump. That's the trimming I'm talking about. But yeah, little mini envelope. Perfecto. I think I will be making some cuts because I do want this to be slightly more open, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We got more envelopes to make. So what did I say? Between 1/4 of an inch and 3/8. And very excitingly, you will watch me do this several more times. Yeah, I have been catching up on anime recently. So that is what I've been doing, and it's been getting good. It's getting really good. So, out of curiosity, what shows do you guys watch where you're like, I gotta watch this and then I'll craft? Like, what show has you locked in? Or like a show that you can't watch while you're crafting because you know you're gonna sit there and just watch it and not craft? I'd be very interested. Because, yeah, it's not even, like, one of my favorite animes, but it was, like, you know, we're in the final season, so all the big boss battles are coming through, all the fight scenes are incredible, so I was, like, locked in. And then it was 2 in the morning, and I had to go. It is, in fact, the day after the big wintry, icy storm, which did keep me up longer, because I definitely did not go to bed at 2 in the morning. I went to bed at, like, 3 in the morning, because we had all that loud ass ice rain, like a sleet and icy rain fall was loud. And I woke up surprisingly early considering how late I was up. But it's nice and snowy here, although it looks like it's already starting to considerably melt. Whatchamacallit, I keep getting pictures of people of this, of like the snow outside, like from my friends and coworkers and stuff, and I'm like, I know, I also live here in Texas. You know, like even my mom sent me something, and like we live in the same apartment complex, so I was like, I could open up my door and see the same thing that you're looking at. That's how close my mom lives. So I'm like, thanks. Granted, she probably sent it because she knows I'm not going to open my door and go, look, I have windows. What am I going to go outside for? Just so I can, like, interrupt the equilibrium of my house and let a pocket of cold air in? For what? We did get the news a day early that we are working from home tomorrow, which I'm excited about. Still going to do a half a day, because that's a half a day I could be crafting. So, yeah, doing that. But also, because I realized that we have like we've got new laptops at work, and the whole connections are like in a 2-part thing, and I didn't even think about it when I left on Friday. I just grabbed the cord, unplugged my laptop, and walked out. Yeah, that wasn't the cleverest of moves because I needed the other part of the cord, so I don't have the ability to charge my laptop. So I did turn it off so that it'll last. I kind of just want to like trim that off. If you were my pencil. So yeah, I don't have the ability to charge my laptop, so I couldn't work all day even if I wanted to. Now, is this step necessary? No. No, it is not. It'll work just fine as an envelope, either way. But for the sake of what I'm doing here, yes it is. Alright, let's see. Beautiful. So then, this now becomes a template. And we do that a couple more times. I did unintentionally make more of these than I have typically been, because I have been sticking to 3s, but yeah, it just seems silly to only cut a 3-inch square off that piece of paper and then be like, go back to the bin with you. They look like weird little birds. I don't know. Maybe I am more tired than I thought. Because, yeah, I woke up and I was like, huh. I kind of assumed I would be sleeping in all day. But, as fate has decided, I got up. I got up early. Now, did I get up and do stuff early? No. I just laid there, played games, checked my phone messages. In fact, I have to answer somebody's message because I messaged them right when I woke up and was like, I've barely been awake. And then never came back to that, which I should have known with my ADHD that that's not how we do. You know, I can't dismiss a message or like a notification because I'm not coming back. This is not the most interesting portion of the video, but we'll get there. We'll get there. What else can I talk about? Definitely not anime. Don't do that again. I think you've said everything about the weather that you could possibly say. My cat is cute, but she hasn't really done anything today. And in about an hour, she's going to come get me to turn the heating pad back on. Which, like, she's being very silly now because it's so cold. She only wants to sit on the one that's in the bedroom. And not the one that's right here. So even though this one is on, she still comes to get me. And I'm like, oh, hey, this one's on. You can sit here. And she's like, yeah, no. I need the one that's in the bedroom. Okay. Okay. I had to sneeze quite a bit because allergies be allergying. I went to bed like last night, just like the simple act of getting like everything together to go to bed had me like so I was like, okay, so all of your asthma medication at once, please, because the storm is trying to take you out one way or the other. Thank you, Nico. I did stop to pet her in the middle of this. Actually, I don't want this to be pointy, do I? Yeah, I do. No, I know what I'm doing. I do want to ink up both sides on this pointy part, though. Sticking it together might be making this unnecessarily difficult for me in the future, but I already did it. Also, I didn't really need to ink up the inside. That's a goofy thing I did. Also, you'll notice I am intentionally not folding the top flap. That is on purpose. I want these to be open envelopes. And then, there it is. I heard it roll away, but I didn't know where it went. I literally just thought of the thing I was going to talk to you guys about before I started recording. I was like, oh yeah, bring this up. This will be a good topic of conversation. And then, no. No, you have no thoughts or brain power. You are a worm. I wonder what worms dream of. Do they dream of electric sheep? It's been a while since I watched that movie. I should probably watch that movie. Since it's in my brain, it must mean it's time. What could I possibly talk about if I had a personality? Well, I guess it's more of a brag than anything else, but I could say that all my time spent watching anime last night until 2 in the morning was not in vain, because I did keep my hands busy, because I was sat right here at my desk watching it, which is so silly, because I could have got up at any time and just transferred it to my tablet and watched it in my bedroom in the comfort of my bed, which is what Nico wanted me to do. She kept reminding me that I could actually go to bed, and I was like, yeah, but, like, I'm already sitting here. So I spent the time, hours, because I had to do it in between staring at the screen, making a tag for Moz and the Scratic for the final project that all this ephemera is going to go into. So it's like the signature tag. And I don't know, if you've been on this channel for a long time, you might remember I used to do these like signature tags for the books that were basically like a face of the character of like whatever thing I was doing, because I was doing a lot of like pop culture and history stuff at the time. So I used to make like a tag that had like the face of the character on that I would like draw out using a stamp as a template, and then like decorate up. So that used to be like the thing that I would do, but then I stopped doing that because I got tired of drawing out characters. It's essentially what happened, and then it just sort of became like a little bit daunting to like pick it back up. But then I was like, but a signature tag can be anything. It doesn't have to be something you draw out. Like, you made this up. And essentially the whole idea is that the signature tag is like the main tag of the tags. You know, it's not like the focal piece or anything, but it's like the big display piece. It's usually a larger tag, and it's like, hey, like, this is the concept that we're working with here. This is the thing. Be amazed by it. I don't know. But, you know, like, it'd just be like the big representation of what we're making and how it all, like, you know, works together or whatever. So I was like, I should start making signature tags again for the stuff that I'm making. You know, there's nothing that says I have to draw anything. I could just, you know, make a big tag that's, like, representative of the project and make it like a big tag, you know. So that's what I did. I made the signature tag. That's what I did last night. And it's really neat, and I guess when I finally put all the stuff together into a flip through, I'll explain what I did, because that's not what the purpose of this video is. But that's what I did while I was sitting here for hours watching anime. Like a little weirdo. I wonder if this will show up. I mean, maybe if I went back and sprayed it all with water. You can kind of see it. Let me just activate some of it. Okay, yeah, I like that. Coffee sip while I consider my next move. I should probably dry this really quick. Okay, so we have mini envelopes. The prompt is fabric. I know you guys are like, Priscilla, what the heck? I have another scrap of this silk fabric left now that I've cut the big piece down. So we're gonna stuff these envelopes, you know, like this. We're gonna stick it in here and back the back of these with a little bit of fabric. So I want to make sure that they are nice and open, also that the glue is dry, because yeah, I could have done this before I glued it together, but I don't want to. So we're gonna do it the lazy way. Also, I I did go back and stick my Fabri-Tac upside down in this bin here, so it's not as fancy as a fancy cup, but it'll do. It does the trick. I'm actually surprised that it's flowing today, because last night when the temperature started dropping, it was like, yeah, no, I've never come out of this bottle in my lifetime. Okay, fingers. Work with me. I am all you have. So yeah, nothing fancy. I was like thinking about all the stuff I could do with fabric, and I was like, oh, you could do like fabric panel tags, or you could do all these things. But I was like, I just kind of want to make like little envelopes. That's what I want to make. And then I was looking at the prompts, and I was like, oh, nothing else gives me like the leeway to make a fabric envelope. I was looking for these. They were underneath the fabric. And then, like, you know, I could have made a fabric envelope, you know, like an envelope made of fabric. And I could arguably make one without sewing it, but I just feel like they look better and hold together better when they're sewn. There's always a chance when you're, like, gluing with Fabri-Tac that it's going to go, like, funky, lumpy, and weird. And, also that it'll bleed through in places where you put too much down. I suppose it's okay that this isn't super nice. I wonder though, because it's a silk fabric. No, don't burn it. Resist the urge. Can't get away with using this piece. Yes. Fantastic. Put my little pin back in this glue. But yeah, so I thought about a bunch of different things I could do with fabric, and then I was like, oh yeah, you could do that. And then I was like, you just did a big like fabric tag thing though for pattern or for quilt. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to do something similar to that again so soon. You know, I thought about doing like a fabric snippet roll thing, you know, like taking like a strip like this and turning it into like little snippets, because I definitely have all the little pieces and stuff to do, stuff like that. But you know, like I had the ideas but not the motivation, and I really wanted to make little envelopes for some reason. Don't ask me why. I actually have a ton of ideas, so I will be carrying those over into the next month, because I have more scraps to use, and then doing some stuff on Patreon for it, for stuff that didn't make the cut, for prompts and things like that, over on Patreon, because, yeah, why not, because I want to get these scraps used up as much as possible before I jump into the next mini album. So who knows, you know, I might come back and be like, yeah, I do in fact want to make a fabric envelope, but for now, we're making an envelope with fabric. And then we're going to put some cute stuff on it. And by cute, I just mean moss, because moss are cute. Have you ever seen that little, like, fluffy, like, whatchamacallit, it's a type of dog. Poodle. The poodle moth. It's so cute. And I can't stand it. And then I saw that on Etsy that you could order in season. It has to be in season, like when it's their time, and depending on your region. But you can order like moth pupas so that you keep them and then they hatch. Or you can order the little eggs or the caterpillar like larva, and they will send it to you so you can keep them in your house and then set them free when they reach adulthood, after they like become beautiful moths. And so I might do that come like spring, summer, because it would be so cool. Of course I'd have to get them like a little enclosure to keep them in, but like, yeah, I'll see if I can thrift a bird cage between now and the spring, summer season. So if I manage to find a bird cage at the thrift store, I will be getting moths, and I will take you on the journey with me. If I can't find one, then I won't, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bird cage, but, you know, like, a thing to keep them in, and then feed them, and then love them and watch them develop and grow and then release them like the beautiful winged children they are. It would just be so magical. And probably the only insect I would ever keep, because let's be for real, as much as I love insects, looking at them, I love to look at an insect, guys. I love to observe and watch from afar. I do not want them anywhere near me. And there's very few insects that I'm like, yeah, you could be right next to me, and that's fine. Bees. I don't mind bees at all. In fact, I think bees are funny little guys. So I'm all about, like, hanging out with bees. I love a moth, of course, obviously. All about hanging out with moths. One other insect. I mean, butterflies are fine. I feel like the butterfly is, like, everybody's insect. In fact, I know very few people. I do know some people, but very few people who are, like, put off by butterflies. Butterflies are just, like a given, right? Let's see. Ladybugs are cool, but ladybugs pee on you and they bite. So, you know, I don't have a lot of, like, desire. But most beetles are kind of like that, I guess. I do like a lot of beetles. Not to, like, touch. Although, sometimes. This is just, like, me telling you about my weird bugisms and how I occasionally will pick up a beetle and be like, oh, and then I put it back down. But only, like, if they have cool, like, carapaces. Because we get those, like, pretty jewel green, like, beetles that, like, have iridescence on their little shells, their little wings shells, their carapace. And it's really cool. It changes colors in the light. And I find it very fascinating. But also, they're a pest here, like, because they just absolutely override gardens and all sorts of stuff. Much to people's chagrin, but to my delight, because I get to see them and go, oh, look. And then if they die, I pick them up. So here's the thing about me. If the bug is dead, I have no problems. I like cicadas. Cicadas are cool. Little loud boys. I appreciate a lad boy. I have a bunch of, like, cicada parts and pieces, because when they come into season, they leave all their parts and pieces behind, and I pick those up. Because, like I said, I am of the spooky variety, so I keep a jar in my purse specifically for the reason of picking up things that I find outside, including insect wings. I have some dragonfly wings that I found. I don't have any butterfly wings, which is actually surprising. Or maybe not surprising. There's actually not that many butterflies in Texas like there used to be. There used to be this huge migration of them that I would see every year, and then, like, over time, sadly, there are less and less. Like the firefly, there are less and less. Thanks, mankind. Because, yeah, that sucks. Sucks a lot. It used to be, like, one of the most magical things about living here. Was, like, in the fall, I would know, like, oh, it must be fall, because the fireflies would come out. You gotta pick in or out of the envelope, my guy. And I don't want to chop my whole envelope down trying to get this little piece to get, like, its act together. Okay. It's fine. Don't set it on fire, even though you want to. Well, I mean, like, what's the worst that could happen? I burned an envelope. Actually, that's very satisfying. And a nice finish on the edges, like I wanted. Wait a minute. Okay, so while I satisfy this innate human desire, what was I talking? I was talking about bugs. I think I've told this story before on my Patreon, but maybe not to you guys here. I don't remember. Like, everything blurs together, honestly, so I don't know where I've told this story, if I've told this story. But if you wanted an example of how I like to pick up bugs, as a kid, I used to like to pick them up alive. Now, as an adult, it's the way they move creeps me out too much to pick them up alive. In most cases, Unless it's a moth, then I'm like, oh, sweet little boy. But when I was a kid, we had like a infestation of ladybugs. I think I've told this story before, but who cares? There's new people here, so I'm telling it again. In my hometown, we had like an infestation of ladybugs. Like they just came in, and it was like a plague of ladybugs that came through. And there were so many that, like, one day, for no reason, I was in elementary school. We had like an outside day. I don't remember. I think we weren't in school. I think it was summertime. So we used to have like a Parks and Rec, like a after school program, but they did it in the summertime because like most people's families work for the casinos. So most kids had to be like watched in the daytime while their parents worked. And yeah, so I was in that program every summer, and we were doing some sort of picnic outside sort of deal. So I had my lunchbox outside, which is not typical. But there were so many ladybugs in the grass that after some point, I just started picking them up and putting them in my lunchbox. And I could not tell you for the life of me what my motivation was, what my goal was. It was just to collect as many ladybugs as possible, because I know that had to have been the goal, because at some point my friend started to help me. So we just started scooping in like handfuls of ladybugs. And then, and this should have been like one of the early indications I had ADHD. I forgot about it. I did. I put my lunchbox away. I went about my business. I went home. I was playing outside. I didn't think nothing about nothing. My mom came home, told her all about my day. You know, like everything was great. It was all like grand and good, and I was having a great old time. And then my mom goes to clean out my lunchbox so she can pack it for the next day, and I hear her screaming my name, and I come running into the kitchen to be like, whoa, what's going on, Mom? It's just this explosion of ladybugs everywhere, because yeah, I brought them all home in this lunchbox and forgot, and then didn't tell my mom. And I remember because she looked at me like, what is wrong with you? And I was just like, what? Oh yeah, those are my ladybugs. And yeah, she was furious, needless to say, and she made me go empty them all out outside. But yeah, I just had a bunch of ladybugs. Gonna question the wisdom of lighting this on fire so soon after applying the fab attack, but yeah. If it goes up, it goes up. It's just paper. Like I said, if it goes up, it just goes up. It's fine. To get a blob there. Oh, that's not cute. But it's not what we're here for. Okay. So now we have these little fabric backed envelopes. I love the color. We need some stamping. Some stamping for sure. I guess postage stamps, yeah, because they're postage related. Not the stamps are postage related, because it's an envelope, therefore postage related. That's what I meant. But yeah, that's just an insight into the kind of child I was and the kind of hell that I raised from my mother. Poor thing. Poor teen. Because yeah, that was not like an unusual occurrence. Let's just say. What color? I mean, brown makes the most sense. You're gonna be the odd man out though in this group, because that would be pointless. Let's do this guy. And then you, my friend, gonna need the white ink. And then maybe like an embossing, because why not? Can't think of any other like funky bug stories. There is an arachnid, which I have been told is not a spider actually, but it's called a vinegaroon in the southwestern United States. It is hell and horrible and awful, and if I could never encounter it again in my life, I would absolutely miss it. Do I want this one too? No, I guess the little one's fine, but I don't want them all to be samesies, so no, we'll use it. Hold on, I have to dry this first. This white ink takes forever, so I know already it's gonna catch the embossing thing if I don't dry it. Okay, so hopefully that's good and dry. And we can just give it a little be up. I'll just do every other one so that I know which ones get the other one. So yeah, so there's vinegaroon, but if it stings you, I think it stings because it has a little weird tail thing going on. You taste vinegar for a very long time. It's happened to me one time. It was horrible. Oops, shit. And I can't say if it led to my abject love of vinegar or not. I've actually had another bad experience with vinegar, which would make you think like I would never want to touch this stuff again because I had such a violent reaction to it. But I used to work at a restaurant that was like a steakhouse on a golf course. That's not relevant to the story. It's just a fact. But it was like one of my first like out into the world jobs. So I was I still a busser? I started out as a busser, became a hostess, and then became a server, and then a bartender in the entire like 2 years I worked there. What stage of the game was this? I was a waitress by then. Yeah, this is the problem. I was a waitress. So I used to be a busser, and then I became a waitress. And the problem was that the people that I used to bus for were still servers. And for the most part, everybody was like chill, you know, like they didn't care. That I used to be a busser and then was now a waitress, except for this one lady who was like, I don't know, just convinced that she was like the hottest person there. And then I guess once I became of age to wait tables is when I became a waitress. Like then the cook started flirting with me more because I was a legal adult, which is ick now, but like why it happened this way. But like they stopped flirting with her to flirt with me, which like I don't think and this is mean girl energy for sure, but she wasn't cute. So, like I think they were just flirting with her because she was there and single and a lady. Because honestly those cooks would have flirted with like water if it was women shaped, you know what I mean? Like I don't think they cared about anything. To be fair, they definitely flirted with me before I was a legal adult. So, like, yeah, it had nothing to do with that. But she was, like, convinced that, like, you know, she was the hotness, and the cooks should all flirt with her and give her special treatment. And then when I started waiting tables, you know, they started being a lot nicer to me because I was interacting with them more. So then, you know, like, they would give me the extra fries or the plate of food that, like, didn't go out or whatever, or make a special dish or whatever. And I didn't care because I was young and already, like, in a committed relationship and also naive as hell. So like none of it fazed me. But the other problem was that she didn't think she should have to share like tables because she had been a waitress the entire time and I was a brand new server. So if we were slow and we were like, you know, splitting the entire restaurant, she'd be like, no, I'm gonna take all the tables because like I need the money, I'm an adult and you're barely like an adult, and you know, you used to be a busser, so you can bus for me and I'll tip you out. And I'd be like, no, no, I'm not going to do that, because I have become a server now, so like I would like to wait the tables and make my own money, and I'll bus my own dang tables as well, like that's fine, because I don't have a problem with it. But she didn't want to bus her table, she wanted me to do it for her, and then she didn't want to give me the tables, and so it just got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to go talk to the manager. So the manager basically told her she can't bully the hostesses into giving her all the tables, and that she had to split them, and she got so offended that like nothing was going her way that pause because I have to heat stuff up. So yeah, so she got so offended that like nothing was going her way that she decided to like take it up another notch, and so we got into this whole confrontation in the kitchen, where she like accidentally, but not accidentally, like splashed me with some hot water from the coffee pot, like not hot water, hot coffee from the coffee pot, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to tell on you for that too, because there's one thing I will do, which is snitch on an adult. Absolutely snitch on an adult. Especially when they're being shit. At that age, I was definitely tattling. I was not solving my own problems at that age. Now, 20 years later, I would absolutely have walked her like a dog, because no, you're not going to disrespect me to my face. But yeah, at that age, I was not confrontational the way that I am now. So I was like, I need a bigger adult. I'm a new adult. So yeah, I told on her for that. So then they had us sit down and talk to each other, which, like, as a person who has worked on both sides as management and non-management, this tactic never works, and I don't understand why managers think that this is like the solution. Like, oh, these two people aren't getting along, so why don't I have them sit down together and talk about it, and then whoever's the loudest person is the person I will believe, because that's how it always goes, right? Like, the person who's screaming and shouting and making a big deal about all sorts of stuff is the one that they're like, well, okay, well, she said that you were being difficult, so this is why. But like, in the defense of this particular manager, he did have us sit down and talk to each other, but I was so quiet then that I was like, she splashed me with coffee. She did it on purpose. There were witnesses. Like, that was my whole statement the entire time, that he was like, yeah, I think you splashed her with coffee. So yeah, she got in trouble for that. And then after that, she got so mad because it was public. Like, that was the thing, is that like they called us into the office, we had to talk about it. I was like, you could literally ask anybody who was in the kitchen. All the chefs were like, yeah, she did it, we saw, like, it was not an accident. Which, you know, like, just added fuel to the fire, because there's another way in which things aren't going her way because she's being an asshole. And so, whatchamacallit, so then she decided to replace the water in my water cup with vinegar. And it was like during a particularly busy day, and I came to the back, grabbed my water, took a big old fucking swig, just horked it down because I was so thirsty, and then yeah, I threw up because yeah, it was disgusting. I threw up so much that I had to go home. To the point where they were like, yeah, you gotta leave. We gotta figure this out. This isn't gonna work. And I was like, yeah, no shit, it's not gonna work. And yeah, it just turned into this like huge ridiculous thing. because she felt threatened by a younger woman who had no interest in any of the cooks back there and wasn't like a freaking lot lizard like her. Yeah, that was where the mean girl thing was. She's not cute. In fact, she was a big alcoholic. In like not the fun party girl way, but like in the boozy way. I don't know how else to put that. I don't know if that's going to be visible when it dries, but for posterity. So yeah, after that, I didn't touch vinegar for quite some time. That was the whole point of the story, was that, yeah, I did not touch vinegar for quite a while. And then, I don't know what it was, like, 25 passed, I came into my 30s and was like, you know what I could use? A mouthful of vinegar. And then I just became, like, the biggest fan of, like, balsamic vinegar, strawberry vinegars. I make my own vinegars. I love salad dressing, so I like making vinaigrettes. I like tossing vegetables in vinegar. It's like my favorite thing. And you would think after having an experience with a vinegaroon and a freaking restaurant bitch, I would be like on the anti-vinegar brigade, but in fact am not. And still love it to this day. Okay, so I have some smallish guys we could have like flying out of here, which kind of works for me. Kind of really works, you know. That's where this whole thought process is going, by the way. If you were wondering how we were doing this, I wanted to have some moss flying out of envelopes. I have a couple littles. Could I get like a little twosies? That's cute. I kind of like that and that. This one's like a little too long guy for what we got going on here. But these would be really cute as little paper clips. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, to be fair. If they were slightly bigger, I'd say they make like really cute tuck spots. They could still be like little tuck spots, you know, like just glue them on this side and then, you know, tuck like a little tag or something back here. That would still work too. I almost want to say I saw something very similar to this on Pinterest, but I, for the life of me, don't know how long ago that was, or when ago that was. But I feel like this is coming through, from Pinterest, which like is dog doo doo to be on nowadays. You know, I love it, and I still go on it regularly, but I resent it wholeheartedly because like you got to go through like 6 rows of ads, like just scrolling to get past all the ads, and then half of them are like AI generated bullshit, and then you know, when you finally get to like the one post, you're like, oh, I like this, I'll save it, and you click to see more, you're like, more ads. Like it's literally so chocked full of ads that it's like, it feels so weird, it feels so foreign, like a place to be, and you never know what ads are like ads, and what's like not an ad, even though like, you know, you have to look for that little tag at the bottom, but if you're not looking, if you're not being careful, you end up clicking on an ad and being like, oh, dang it. And yeah, that's also a frustrating experience. And then it's just, there's more ads than pins. You know, like you'll see a pin and you'll be like, I like this. And then like next to it's an ad, and underneath it's an ad, and then right here is an ad. And so you scroll a little bit and ad, and then another pin, and you're like, okay, great. At this rate, I'll get to see 4 pins in an hour, and I'll only like one of them. You know, like, it's just, oh, it's so, I hate how that's like ruined Pinterest, how they've done it so far. Yeah, I really hate it, but I still cannot stop myself from going to check it out every so often. And then I like making pin boards, and like, you know, I use them as like inspiration boards. I use them as like little mood boards too. Like, There's a bunch of fun little things that you can do on Pinterest, but like it's just so full of stuff. And it's full of stuff too that makes me like question what the algorithm thinks I am or how much money it thinks I have, because it keeps recommending me shelving because I'm looking for shelving, and like, you know, organization things, but it's like shelving for classrooms. So like, you know, enough that I'm like, you know, I don't have $800 for a shelf. You know, and I know. You should know that I don't have $800 for a shelf. I wonder if the problem I'm having with this little guy is that he's by himself. You know? There's gotta be another little dude that we could do together. But yeah, like I like to do that. I like to do that for like projects that I'm working on. When I make like another big journal piece, I usually make a Pinterest board to go with it, so I have like an idea in mind of like the vibes. I like to make Pinterest boards when I do commissions. I know I haven't been doing them lately. It's a thing. But you know, I like to make them for commissions and be like, this is the vibe, yes, question mark. Just to make sure that like I understand what people are asking for, and usually it goes pretty well. Or I get like the feedback that I'm looking for, which is like less steampunk, more industrial, and I'm like, oh, okay. Got it. You know, like, get your butt in there. Let me see. So that half. You know, so I still use it as a tool. It's just, you know, so frustrating to be on something that's been absolutely destroyed by corporations and greed and marketing. In such a weird way. Because it used to be so cool. It used to be such like a cool website. I know, like, because everybody was using it, right? So it used to be really cool. This one's so pretty. This is my favorite moth. But you know, like, I guess, you know, nothing lasts forever, especially in the world as we know it. So I just gotta accept that it's changed this way until, you know, they decide that it's no longer useful or a viable source of income, and then they dump the website, and what's left is a sad dread of what once was. Because that is how things happen. I used to play a game, like, religiously play this game, and, like, when I say play a mobile game, like, when I played this game, you guys, like, I'm putting money down on this. I'm in a league. I'm in a group of people. We're chatting. We have this whole community together. Like, this whole thing is going down. I'm on this game constantly. I am, like, if I don't have access to the internet, I'm finding the nearest McDonald's so that I can get on the internet, so that I can join the tournament or join whatever thing my team is doing so I don't miss stuff. You know, like, I was hustling for this game. I was all in. And this was before Discord. So there wasn't, like, another place that you would go to, like, communicate except for, like, Facebook. And I, even back then, was like, oh, Facebook, I'm so over it. And if you guys are aware, now I do not go on Facebook at all. But, like, that was the only place we had, like, a community board outside of the game. And I was not on it. These are all facing the same direction. Is it too late to change this direction? Not particularly. So, yeah, so, like, what I'm basically getting at is that this was the only place I had to communicate was on the game with these people. And just so dedicated to the cause, you know, and, yeah, out of nowhere, one day, they were like, hey, like, we got bought out, so, just so you know, the game has been purchased by another company, and they're gonna do some updates, and we were like, oh, okay. Fine, you know, and then like gameplay started to get weird and laggy, and literally within the week they posted up a thing. So I logged in for what I didn't know was going to be the last time, but it was in fact, you guys, the last time. And they were like, yeah, so the company that bought us decided to close the game. This is the end, goodbye. And I was like, wait a minute. which was my first lesson in how nothing lasts forever on the internet, and if you think you own it, no you don't. So like, you know, shout out to physical media, because you own that, but you do not own anything on the internet, for sure. And I don't know, I glued the entirety of that wing. Yeah, they just closed the game, never opened it back up, never let anybody retrieve their stats or get screenshots of stuff or anything like that, make, you know, their final contacts and things like that. They were just like, yeah, goodbye. It's over, and it was so devastating. And then I was like, ugh, but all my friends, like, I want to know what game they went to after this one, so that I could continue to talk with them over there. And because I didn't get on Facebook, I didn't know the name of the group to like have a chit chat with them and find them. And so yeah, that just was the end of an era, which is a good example of what happens when, you know, companies get bought and sold and things like that. They just go. And sometimes you don't know, and one day you have it and the next day you don't. Sorry, I'm trying to read and tell you guys my thoughts at the same time. And it's, I mean, it's sad, but it is sort of the nature of the beast. And, it is what it is. That game is over and it's done. And I feel like eventually that's how I'm gonna log into Pinterest one day, and they're gonna be like, all of your pins and everything is gone. You're a fool for spending any time here. This has unlocked everything for me. I know I did this in another one. I don't even care that, like, I've grunged up the entirety of the word. I want it to be grungy. I just don't want to have to hold all of them and individually do the edges. Just forever looking for ways to get shortcuts on inking. Because, yeah, once I figure out how to ink up edges without having to do it all by hand, it's game over. It's game over. Everything will be distressed and edged and perfectly, like, perfectly perfect. It's gonna be so amazing. And of course, you know, I gotta put a little word on it or I feel like it's not finished. So exciting to finally be done with this, and I hope it's not a 70-hour video. Guess we'll find out together. Really tried to be more succinct today. Yeah, these would be cute little paper clips. They really would. It's not what I'm going to use them for because I already made paper clips. Didn't I? I made charms. Those were also charms. No, I think they're paper clips. Oh, the Tattermoss. The Tattermoss are paper clips. That's where they are. I made 3 things that are paper clips. So, I mean, feasibly. I'll leave it up in the air. I'll decide once I start putting it together in the book that I'm going to make for these. If they're going to become paper clips or little tuck spots or just little embellishments. Thank you. But yeah, that's it. That's fabric. That's what we did. So I'll get you guys closer. Hold on. Ooh, that's so close. But here's our little envelopes. I was trying to think of like another way to mesh those words together. Like an envelope moth. An envelope moth. A mothalope? A mothalope. Super cute. I love these. And they're relatively simple. I know I chatted a lot, so that's probably what took so long. But yeah, these are cute. Let me know what you guys think. You're going to try these out yourself? Check out the hashtag Moz and the Scratic. See what everybody else is making for the challenge in the description box below. There's a playlist. There's also a Pinterest board. If you haven't figured out already, there is one down there for you guys to get some inspiration and ideas from. And yeah, that's going to be it for me, you guys. I will catch you all on the next one. Come back tomorrow for the last 2 days. Where are we? For the second to last day, the day before the last day, that day, tomorrow. Until next time, guys, happy crafting. I appreciate your faces, and goodbye.